Hey everyone, I just got done doing a bunch of Tujen haggling and I thought I would make a video on it because the results were actually fairly interesting. I was not sure whether I would even turn a profit and I ended up making about 2 exalts per hour, which was definitely lower than what I would expect from an endgame farming strategy. However, this sort of stuff is really important for casual players. This didn't involve any kind of complex trading. This didn't involve having a good build or having a lot of game knowledge. This was just basically doing a bunch of math and making a bunch of money easily for free whilst sitting in the hideout. And so we're just going to get right into it. I'm going to show you how to haggle, what the sort of strategy you want to use is, and what kind of results you can expect from each of the currencies. So to start off with, I'm going to talk about the haggling strategy that I used, and the strategy that I used revolves around trying to minimize the amount of clicking and the amount of time wasted, whilst also maximizing the profit per window. Something a lot of people don't realize is that the reroll currency, exotic coinage, costs around 6 chaos orbs, which means that for each window you want to make approximately 6 chaos orbs on average in terms of profit before you reroll, otherwise you're going to be losing money by having to reroll too much. This means that you want to buy out pretty much everything in the window that is profitable, and that requires having a lot of starting currency, but it also requires sort of knowing all the exchange rates and all that, which is kind of why I have the table planned out here. Although you should definitely use trading tools. You should use PoE Ninja to sort of have a list of all the currencies, and you should probably use PoE Awaken Trade to check more complex things such as scarab prices or stuff like that. Now I'll just get into exactly what we're doing. So if you see an item that you really want and it's worth multiple chaos in terms of profit, I just ask 60 to 65% of the asking price for an immediate purchase. You can min-max this a little bit, but it's going to require extra clicking, and the bottom line is if you offer about 2/3 of the asking price, he almost always sells you the item. Now, on the other hand, if you're getting offered something that has a much slimmer margin of profit, you can take a larger risk in terms of trying to maximize your savings so that you can extend that margin of profit and make it a little more worth your time. But on the other hand, we don't want to be haggling forever. We don't want to be doing, expending 5 to 6 clicks per sale. It's going to just add to the amount of time we spend, and since this is a low value item hypothetically, we don't want to waste too much time on it. So what you typically do with this is you haggle to 10 to 20% of the asking price. Now when you do this, about half the time he will just withdraw the sale because he gets offended, kind of like if you lowball someone in actual real PoE trading. On the other hand, if he doesn't, he's going to set a new range for you, and if you offer about 51% or just over halfway of the new range, he will usually give you the item. Now you'll tend to get a better rate than just going and offering 2/3 of the price anyway, but this method does involve the risk of losing the sale right off the bat, so you have to weigh that up, and that's why you don't do that even on the more expensive items where you stand to make a larger amount of profit by using the strategy. The thing is, we really need those big ticket sales, the things that make us 3 to 4 chaos worth of profit per go, in order to make it worth spending 6C on the reroll tokens. So we can't afford to lose those prices, we can't afford to lowball him. We can only afford to lowball him on the items that aren't worth very much, the sales that we don't need, but we would kind of like if we can get them. Now on the other hand, if the item isn't really worth it, or it's only going to be a profit if you manage to snag a very great discount, and to be clear for those who don't understand how this works, it is possible to buy an item for about 40% of the initial asking price. It's just very rare that he actually goes for a sale like this, and you often have to haggle back and forth with him, and it takes a lot of time. It's generally never worth doing this. It's just going to add to the amount of time you spend haggling, and going through the video I recorded of myself haggling, I end up wasting a lot of time trying to do this while I was sort of experimenting with different strategies. If an item isn't going to be worth any, a significant amount of profit, it's not even going to be worth like half a chaos orb. If you get it at a discount, then maybe it's not worth doing. So I'm just going to show you guys a quick demonstration of exactly how we're going to do this. I'm going to probably do it a little slower than what I would normally do it when I'm trying to bust it out, but it should do the trick. So to start with, we're going to look at all the sort of big ticket items and probably ignore a lot of the smaller ones. Typically armor scraps, blacksmith whetstones, orbs of transmutation, they are almost always offered at scam rates anyway, and even if they weren't, making a tiny fraction of a chaos orb probably isn't even worth the amount of mental energy you're putting towards working out whether it's worth it. So we'll just work down the list. Stacked decks, we're being offered 6 stacked decks here for 112 greater black scythe artifacts. So if you recall the little table that I put up previously, this is basically getting 6C worth of stacked decks for a little over 1C worth of currency. It's pretty much, we're guaranteed to make quite a bit of money from this. This almost makes this entire reroll window worth it, and we're going to offer, approximately 2/3 of the price, and we should get the sale guaranteed. 76 is less than 1C worth of currency, and we got the sale. Okay, Next up is a rusted bladed scarab. This is worth about 6 to 7 C, and we're being asked for about half a C worth of greater black scythe currency. We're going to offer 2/3 here just to get the sale quickly. Okay, we're going to move down. Now, this is worth approximately 1 C worth of common black scythe artifacts, and we're getting offered 3 C worth of stacked decks. Again, we're just going to make an easy sale here. 3 C worth of currency, 3 C worth of stacked decks. So we're gonna offer around 2/3. We'll make 1 C profit from this. Very easy. Okay, we're giving 1 C worth of, a little under 1 C worth of currency for 2 C worth of fusings. Half a C worth of currency for 2 C worth of fusings. This one I kind of don't really care about. The oils that you get from this incubator aren't really worth money, so I don't really care here. I'm just going to lowball. He's withdrawn the sale. Now this one, you can probably sell that for around 2 C, but he's asking for over 2 C worth, so we're just going to lowball. And he withdraws. Jeweler's orbs. So this is about 1 C worth of currency, 1 C worth of jewelers. Don't really care very much. He withdrew. Okay, so I think we'll just reroll at this point. We made our profit from this window. Important thing to keep in mind, you're not going to make profit every window. You're not going to make your 6C back from the exotic coinage, and that's really important to understand. And this window was very high value, and we definitely made a lot of money here, but not every window is like this one. So you'll make more money. You'll make money on average, but you're not going to make money every single window, and that's okay. You can only do your best each window. Everything being offered here pretty much isn't worth our time, so now we're just going to reroll. Okay, so ritual splinters. So this should be worth, off the top of my head, I think around 2 C worth of ritual splinters, and we're being asked for 1 C worth of greater black scythe currencies. So this is worth doing the 2/3 method for. Easy. 3 C for 3 C, pretty much. Okay, we'll take it. Now alts. This is under 2 C worth of alts and a little over 1.5 C worth of currency, but we're going to drop it to about 1 C worth of currency. Okay, not worth it, not worth it. So orbs of scour. This is about 1 C worth of orbs of scour for half a chaos orb worth of currency. We'll take it. Aberrant fossils. They go for about 1 to 1. We'll just do 2/3. Okay, we profited about 1 C from this. Profited a little under half a C from that one. Now orbs of alchemy, we're being offered here a little over 1 C worth, but the asking price is 2. That's kind of too high. So if we drop it down to here, we're paying about 1 C worth of currency for a little over, like the margins on this are very, very slim. We made a very tiny profit there, but nothing significant. It's almost worth skipping that if you can't grind through this and work it out quickly in your head. It's about 1 C worth of orbs of alteration. We'll lowball. We got the sale. Okay, let's go again. Alright, so this one is, I think, asking for about 5 C worth of common black scythe currency. We're just going to do 2/3 method. So now we're paying about 3 C for 6 C. Easy sale. We're going to offer a little over half a C for 2 C. Going to offer about 2 C for 5 C. Half a C for 1 C. I'm not sure how much these are worth. We're going to check. Okay. They go for close to 1 to 3. Well, we'll make our profit on this one.
Fair enough.
These ones are worth, so this is about 3 C worth of scours. We'll offer about 2 C worth of currency. We made some profit. Orbs of alteration, we're getting about 1 C here. We're paying a little over half a C. Dense, so I think they sell for, okay, they sell for 1.5 each if you're selling in bulk. Easy enough. Gotten some pretty clean sales these last few windows. I'm just gonna go again. Okay, so you have a bit of a problem. Now these are worth, this is asking for I think about around 7C, 8C worth of grand black scythe currency, and we're getting about 10 back. Okay, so that's actually not a problem. Oh, no, we make money off that. We're still gonna lowball a little. Got the sale. Too easy. 2/3 method. Easy. Same deal here. 2/3 method. 2/3 method. Too easy. There haven't been too many good examples of, you know, the lowball method, but I will hopefully get one on an upcoming one. Okay, so 9C worth of stuff here, and he's only asking for about 3C worth of currency, so I'm just gonna pay about 2C worth of currency. Okay. This kind of has an intangible value. It's worth money if you run it, but your time is worth money, so I'm kind of gonna give it a skip, just for the sake of this video. Easy money, more easy money. What a chrome's worth. So, yep, easy profit. Easy profit. Now, just show you. So, say you really didn't care about an item, but it was going to be money. I don't think this is a great example, but just in case, we're going to try and lowball. Nope. I'm just going to lowball for the sake of showing you the method. Usually, if you offer about this much. Yeah. So, as you saw there, because we haggled, we actually got that for close around, I think, like 55% of the asking price. Not 100% sure, but I have in some cases gotten sales for less than half the asking price by doing the haggling method. The thing about the haggling method is it involves risking the sale. You have to lowball to start off with, and that means you can withdraw the sale. And if the thing you're haggling for is going to, you know, profit you 5 to 6C, it's just not worth taking that risk. The risk is only worth taking on items that aren't worth a lot of money, and that's not really worth your time. So a lot of it's just very easy to go for the obvious sales here and then skip over the ones that aren't so obvious or aren't quick and easy money. We'll just do it. Now, another thing is that if you lowball at 1, he has a very high chance to withdraw. If you lowball at, say, here, he's got less of a chance. So as you saw there, we paid just over 50% and we got the sale. So yeah, so I'm going to wrap this up and I'm going to tally it up and then we'll move on. So as you can see here, we spent 63C worth of currency, we made back 97C worth of currency, and we profited 34C worth of currency overall. That's actually not too bad, and it's probably a little bit above average compared to the much larger test that I did. So in the larger test, I ended up spending 1,123C, I made back 1,421C, and I profited just under 300C over the course of 91 minutes, and that works out to being approximately 2.1 exalts per hour. The very important thing to consider with all of this is that the amount of money you're making comes down to how fast you're grinding through the reroll windows. If you're getting caught up on a lot of smaller trades, you're going to be wasting a lot of time. Likewise, you also don't want to be taking very large risks with the, you know, the more bulkier sources of profit. When you get offered 6 stacked decks for the price of 1C worth of currency, you should just do the 2/3 method and get the instant buyout rather than risking losing the sale or trying to spend, you know, upwards of 20 seconds haggling just to shave off, you know, a tiny fraction of a Chaos Orb in terms of your profit margin. Overall, I would estimate that if you were truly able to min-max this strategy and grind through it very fast, you know, you become very familiar with the values and you become very confident in terms of what you're doing, I'd estimate you could easily get the strategy to about 4 exalts per hour, and that's really not too bad considering it doesn't involve playing the actual game, you're just managing a vendor window pretty much. So for those wondering, whilst this is all going to be in the spreadsheet that's shared in the description of the video, these are my results exactly so that you can sort of go through it yourself and see what a typical tab looks like. I sorted them out in terms of the types of currency we're spending. So the common tab is basically all the stuff that we got from spending our common currencies. The lesser tab is all the stuff we got from spending lesser currency, and then the greater and grand tab was what we got from spending those. Now, keep in mind, when I did my 91-minute test, I was sorting my inventory out very meticulously so that none of the common currencies and the lesser currencies that I owned got mixed up. For example, when you have 5 Chaos Orbs that you got from lesser currency and you earn another 5 from common currency, they get stacked, and then you have to spend time unstacking them. So these numbers are very much on the lower end, and even like an average person could easily push this to 3 exalts, but you can kind of go through it for yourself. It's totally normal not to get a lot of grand currency items being offered, and a lot of the times that you do get grand currency items, they're going to be offered at scam rates. Part of the reason for this is because there's a sort of like a rare jackpot outcome where Tujen can offer a stack of exalts for grand currency, and this is where the bulk of the grand currency price comes from. People need to buy up lots of these currencies, and not a lot of people have these currencies in bulk, so they end up having to. It drives the price of the grand currency up a lot, and it prices out the ability to buy most of the things being offered with grand currency, but that's totally normal. Don't feel like you're doing anything wrong or anything like that. Basically, most of your actual currency spending is in lesser and common currencies. I think lesser is by far the most common one that you're gonna, do, and then common is ironically less common than lesser, and then finally greater, and then grand. So that's the video. I hope you liked it. I hope it answered all your questions concerning whether Tujen was worth your time or not. I know a lot of you guys have been wondering sort of whether it's even worth bothering to haggle with Tujen, and I think the main takeaway based on this data is that it's worth doing, providing you save up your currency, you do it all in one go, rather than, periodically here and there, where you're going to end up spending 10 minutes at a time to make 5C worth of profit. That's just not really worth it. That's going to be one of the last expedition related videos I'm probably going to put out. The next thing that I want to test is whether it's worth doing Danig and Tujen's expedition content inside maps. I'm leaning towards it probably being not already, but I still have a lot more data to collect, and you can expect that video in the next couple of days. After that though, I think we're going to focus more on build related content and also more generic money making strategies, such as things involving Atlas passives, boss killing, stuff like that. If you found the video helpful, give me a like, comment, or subscribe, and if you didn't, you know the drill, flame me in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.